Want to impress your friends with how much you know about the horses running in the Alabama Stakes at Saratoga Race Course this weekend? Facts and figures, they give you the winning edge. I give you the facts, you make the picks. I'm going to cover the horses running in the Alabama, including one that has some really interesting statistics that you may have overlooked. Hi, I'm Maura from Trifecta and a Little Bit Extra, and today we're talking about the G1 Alabama Stakes, a mile and a quarter on the dirt at Saratoga Race Course. It is for 3-year-old fillies. In fact, it's one of the most prestigious 3-year-old filly races outside of the Kentucky Oaks. We have to start with the best 3-year-old filly out there, Thorpedo Anna. She's not running in this race. No, she's going against the boys in the Travers next weekend, so go Anna. Let's start with the favorite, the number 7, Candied. Candied is trained by Todd Pletcher and will be ridden by Manny Franco. If you want a trainer that wins the Alabama, look no further than Todd Pletcher. He's won 4 Alabamas, 3 in the last 10 years. Candied has 6 starts, 3 wins, 1 place, and 1 show. That means she's hit the board 5 times. Candied began her career here at Saratoga, which means she was well thought of as a 2-year-old. She broke her maiden first time out. She then goes on to 2 G1 races as a 2-year-old. She goes to Keeneland, wins the Alcibiades, goes to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, comes in 3rd behind just FYI, but only 3/4 lengths behind the winner. As a 3-year-old, she began in the Ashland where, unfortunately, she hung on her left lead, came in 4th. The last time we saw her was here at Saratoga in the Coaching Club of America Oaks. That is a key prep race for this race. 6 out of the last 10 winners used the CCA Oaks to prep for the Alabama. Unfortunately, she ran into Thorpedo Anna, who we already talked about, clear winner of that race, but Candied was only 4.5 lengths behind her. She also has the best speed. The only thing is she's a closer. Does she need a lot of pace to run into? Because we only have 2 horses in here who's going to go really fast early pace. If you look at her Alcibiades and you look at her race at Monmouth, that would suggest she doesn't need a lot of pace to run into. So Candied is the deserving favorite. Now let's look at the number 6 horse, Miss Justify, who's out of my favorite sire, Justify. She's also trained by Todd Pletcher and will be ridden by Flavian Pratt, who's having an excellent meet here at Saratoga, 3rd in the standings. Miss Justify, she has 5 starts with 3 wins. In fact, she just won the Wilton Stakes here at Saratoga, which is also the race last year's winner of the Alabama randomized used as their key prep race. She has one of the best speeds behind Candied and is getting better in every start. She's going to be one of our leaders, goes straight to the front. The only thing is, she hasn't run more than a mile. Her breeding suggests she can go more than a mile, but we haven't seen what she could do at these longer distances. Let's look at the number 2 horse, Chatalas, who's trained by Mark Glatt and will be ridden by Frankie Dettori. Together, they have a 21% win rate. Like Candied, Chatalas began her 2-year-old career on a prestigious track, Del Mar. She broke her maiden like Candied first time out. She then was entered into a series of graded stakes races. She goes on to the Debutante, comes in 4th, moves on to the Chandelier, which she won. Then she's entered into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile race where she faced Candied. Unfortunately, she had a very poor start, comes in 9th. We've only seen her once as a 3-year-old in the Indiana Stakes, but I want you to go back and look at that race because that race showed how gutsy she is. She was in the lead, got past, and actually came back, won that race. She'll have to step up in speed, but we're talking about 3-year-olds, and 3-year-olds can improve. She has a super fast workout under her belt leading into this race. She went 5 furlongs for 59 and change. Chatalas is definitely an intriguing horse for this race. Just to the outside of the number 2 horse, Chatalas, is the number 3 horse, Power Squeeze, trained by Jorge Delgado and ridden by Javier Castellano. Power Squeeze has 9 starts with 5 wins, 1 place, and 1 show. But the more impressive statistics, out of her 6 tries on dirt route, she's won 5 of them. We first saw her in graded stakes as a 3-year-old, where she competed in the Gulfstream Oaks, and she actually won against Ways and Means. Ways and Means just won the test here at Saratoga. She went on to the Kentucky Oaks, which was very sloppy. She runs into Thorpedo Anna, and she finishes 16 lengths behind Thorpedo Anna. She then competes against Thorpedo Anna again in the Acorn. She comes in 3rd, 6 lengths behind Thorpedo Anna. In her last outing, she won by a head bob. She does have the 3rd best speed behind Candied and Miss Justify, and her speed pattern would suggest she wants to improve. However, she's a closer, and unlike Candied, she may need some pace to close into. Just a reminder, if you're really liking my content, hit like, hit subscribe, comment. Now let's look at the number 1 horse, Intricate, who's trained by Brendan Walsh and will be ridden by Tyler Gaffalione. Intricate has had 7 starts, 2 wins, 2 places, and 1 show. She began her career at Churchill Downs in Keeneland, where she had 2 really good races. In fact, in the Goldenrod, guess who she beat? Thorpedo Anna. Now, Thorpedo Anna did have a really slow start, but still she beat Thorpedo Anna. Unfortunately, she runs into Thorpedo Anna again in the Coaching Club of America Oaks, which we already said was a key prep race to this race. She comes in 3rd, 6 lengths behind Thorpedo Anna, and also behind Candied. She was no threat to either that day. Now let's look at that horse that I said had some really interesting stats that you may overlook. And that's the number 8 horse, Neon Icon, trained by George Arnold and ridden by Luis Saez, who, by the way, together they win 24% of the time. Why am I so intrigued with this horse? She's only been out 3 times. She breaks her maiden, wins by 4, goes into an allowance race, wins by 5. Oh, and by the way, that race was at this distance. And not only did she run it, she won that race. She's out of Airgate, who does really well with the longer distances. And George Arnold has some really good stats with 3-year-old fillies on dirt routes. Definitely an intriguing horse. She doesn't have the speed, so she may not win this race, but boy, can you impress all your friends with these really interesting facts. Speaking of Airgate, we have another filly in this race out of Airgate, and that's the number 4 horse, Just Basking. She's trained by Ian Wilkes and will be ridden by Chris Landeros. Just like Neon Icon, she did not start her career until she was a 3-year-old. She has 5 starts, 2 wins, and 2 places. In her last outing, she won the Iowa Oaks by 4 lengths. She threw down a big speed rating, improving out of all of her other starts. The question is, who did she really beat? Finally, let's look at the number 5 horse, America's Vow, who's out of Constitution. She's trained by Timothy Hamm and will be ridden by Junior Alvarado. She's had 10 starts with only 2 wins. It took her 5 tries to break her maiden. In her last start here at Saratoga, she was in an allowance race and did win, but she's stepping up in class and has finished behind Power Squeeze and Miss Justify in prior races. If we're going to use Thorpedo Anna as a standard, outside of Intricate, who beat her in the Goldenrod, let's look at how far back some of the other runners were to her. So the narrowest gap is going to be Candied in the CCA Oaks at 4.5 lengths. The next is going to be Power Squeeze at 6 lengths. And then finally, Intricate, again in the CCA Oaks by 8.5 lengths. That's my summary of the Alabama. I hope you all have a wonderful time at the race. And most of all, sashay away with your money. If you like my channel, hit like, hit subscribe, comment. Find me at www.trifectaandextra.com. Cheers!